ceremony. In consideration of those around you, we ask that you please remain seated and in the bleachers during the ceremony until all soldiers have passed the reviewing stand, and the conclusion of the ceremony is announced. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Commanding General, Major General Jason E. Kelly, and the Post Command Sergeant Major Eric Oakes, welcome to the United States Army Training Center in Fort Jackson for the retirement review of 2 soldiers and graduation of companies Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, and Echo from the 1st Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment, 193rd Infantry Brigade. Please stand for the invocation given by Chaplain Potter.
Join me as I pray. Creator God, our help in ages past and our hope for days ahead, we ask your blessing over today's graduation ceremony. Allow us to celebrate, enjoy, and reflect on the great accomplishments and achievements of the soldiers, drill sergeants, cadre, staff, and families during this training cycle. We are thankful for these soldiers who transform themselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Thank you for protecting them and helping them to discover a bigger purpose. We are thankful for the investment of the drill sergeants, cadre, and staff to develop and train these soldiers. Thank you for giving them the patience, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to impart on these young men and women. We also reflect on the families who have supported and encouraged the trainees to finish basic combat training. Thank you for bringing them to this moment that has been long awaited, prayed for, and hoped for. Bless us now as we continue to serve our great nation. In your name we pray, amen.
Please be seated. The purpose of today's ceremony is to recognize the commitment of the men and women you see here who have chosen to serve their country as soldiers. This review is the last official formation in the career of 2 lifelong soldiers and for our newest soldiers. Not everyone successfully completes this difficult period of training. Far fewer are able to accept the challenges and difficulties that come with the life of a career soldier. But those in formation today represent disciplined, motivated, physically fit soldiers who exemplify the Army's 7 core values: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. They are imbued with the warrior ethos and display the tenets of putting the mission first, never accepting defeat, never quitting, and never leaving behind a fallen comrade. This is an important day, and these soldiers can take great pride in their accomplishments. To the parents, families, and friends of these soldiers, Fort Jackson extends a very warm and sincere welcome. We are justifiably proud of our retirees' lifelong dedication to our nation and are truly honored that the next generation standing on this field have chosen to join our ranks. Please direct your attention to the left of the formation. The units marching today from your left to right are the 282nd Army Band under the direction of First Sergeant Sean Cupp, graduating soldiers from Alpha Company, Bravo, the Battalion Color Guard, and graduating soldiers from companies Charlie, Delta, and Echo. Identified by their distinctive headgear are the drill sergeants. These dedicated non-commissioned officers form the backbone of the Army's training center system. Selected based on professional competence, leadership ability, and years of service, these men and women undergo intensive training to earn the right to wear their distinctive hat and insignia. With the drill sergeant hat goes the important responsibility of molding civilian men and women into soldiers. The commander of troops for today's ceremony is Major Tiffany N. Tompkins, who serves as the battalion executive officer for the 1st Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment. She and the battalion staff are positioned on the field. The reviewing officer for today's graduation is the commander of the 1st Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment, Lieutenant Colonel Anthony A. Messenger. And on his left is Command Sergeant Major Stephen L. Gudiel, the battalion's senior non-commissioned officer, master trainer, and principal advisor to the commander.
Hard work, sir. Dedication.
The commander of troops will now bring forward the colors and persons to be honored.
Colors and persons to be honored. Center. March.
Competence and commitment are the hallmarks of professionalism. The soldiers and drill sergeants coming forward will be recognized for their excellence in training and duty performance and serve as examples to all. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the national anthem. It is appropriate for soldiers in uniform and all armed forces veterans to salute the American flag. We ask our civilian guests to please remove your headgear and place your right hand over your heart as our national anthem is played.
Detachment, present arms.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, you are about to witness the retirement of a lifelong soldier. All soldiers begin their journey by graduating from basic combat training. Over the years, there have been changes to how the Army conducts basic training. However, many things remain the same. It was during basic training that these soldiers were first introduced to the Army values. It is where they learned the importance of teamwork and that the Army truly is a family. That sense of team and Army family is still embedded in what is done here today. Over 22 years ago, these soldiers took the same oath to defend this nation that your loved ones on the field have taken. We salute these great soldiers as they pass the torch of freedom along to the newest generation of soldiers, your loved ones standing on the field today. A certificate of appreciation from the President of the United States will be presented to those retiring today. It reads, I extend to you my personal thanks and the sincere appreciation of our grateful nation for your contribution of honorable service to our country. You have helped maintain the security of the nation during critical times in its history with a devotion to duty and a spirit of sacrifice in keeping with the proud traditions of the military service. I trust that in the coming years, you will maintain an active interest in the armed forces and the purpose for which you serve. Those who follow in your footsteps will draw inspiration from your commitment, dedication, and sacrifices made to ensure the protection of our American freedoms. My best wishes to you for happiness and success in the future. A certificate of retirement from the Chief of Staff, United States Army, is also presented to those retiring today and to the spouses of today's retirees for their dedicated service to our nation. At this time, General Kelly and Command Sergeant Major Oaks will recognize our retirees for their service to the United States Army. First Sergeant Tito L. Vasquez, having served honorably for 22 years of service, is placed on the retirement list effective 30 June 2024. First Sergeant Vasquez entered active duty in Fort Benning, Georgia, and will reside in Columbia, South Carolina upon retirement. His fondest professional achievement, where he was able to make a difference in every recruit and soldier he took under his wing, showing them their full potential to become a better soldier and, more importantly, a better citizen to our nation. The nation salutes Tito L. Vasquez, First Sergeant, United States Army, retired. Sergeant First Class Nichelle Robinson, having served honorably for 21 years of service, is placed on the retirement list effective 30 November 2024. Sergeant First Class Robinson entered active duty in Columbia, South Carolina, and will reside in Elgin, South Carolina upon retirement. Her fondest professional achievement, being able to pass on lessons learned to those who I train and led. The nation salutes Nichelle Robinson, Sergeant First Class, United States Army, retired. Please join me in a round of applause for our retirees and their families. Although newly retired, they will always be a part of our Army family. Today marks the start of Fort Jackson's Retiree Appreciation Days in conjunction with Armed Forces Day. We ask that all retirees, Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, and Coast Guard, please stand to be recognized.
Awardees, halt!
Left flank, march. Right flank, march. Right flank, march. March time, march. Go. Halt. Left. Hey.
The soldiers most responsible for the training of these soldiers are the drill sergeants, who are carefully selected by the Department of the Army. The drill sergeant campaign hat and badge have been a stoic symbol of professionalism and pride since 1962. At this time, the drill sergeant of the cycle for Echo Company, 1st Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment, Drill Sergeant Kyle Targart, will recite the Drill Sergeant Creed. We ask that all drill sergeants, past and present, please stand for the reciting of the Drill Sergeant Creed.
The Drill Sergeant Creed. I am a drill sergeant. I'll assist each individual in their efforts to become a highly motivated, well-disciplined, physically and mentally fit soldier, capable of defeating any enemy on today's modern battlefield. I'll instill pride in all I train, pride in self, in the Army, and in country. I'll insist that each soldier meets and maintains the Army standards of military bearing and courtesy, consistent with the highest traditions of the U.S. Army. I will lead by example, never requiring a soldier to attempt any task that I will not do myself. But first, last, and always, I'm an American soldier, sworn to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. I am a drill sergeant. This will defend.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Colonel Messenger and Command Sergeant Major Gutiel will now present the awards. The Outstanding Drill Sergeant of the Cycle for 2402 is Drill Sergeant Kyle Tygart from Vacaville, California. The Soldier Leader of the Cycle for Alpha Company is Private Kamisha Nash from Chicago, Illinois. The Soldier of the Cycle for Alpha Company is Specialist Joseph K. Leary from Oxford, Mississippi. The Soldier Leader of the Cycle for Bravo Company is Specialist Jamie Baker from McLean, Virginia. The Soldier of the Cycle for Bravo Company is Specialist Kenneth Jones from Raleigh, North Carolina. The Soldier Leader of the Cycle for Charlie Company is Specialist Anastasia Todd from Centennial, Colorado. The Soldier of the Cycle from Charlie Company is PV2 Adrian De La Garza Cortez from San Antonio, Texas. The Soldier Leader of the Cycle for Delta Company is Specialist Noah Hawker from Portland, Oregon. The Soldier of the Cycle for Delta Company is Specialist Daryl Morrow from Raleigh, North Carolina. The Soldier Leader of the Cycle for Echo Company is Specialist Angel Garcia from Bakersfield, California. The Soldier of the Cycle for Echo Company is PV2 William P. Staley from Polk, Washington. Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the 1st Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment, Lieutenant Colonel Messenger.
Major General Kelly, Command Sergeant Major Oaks, Colonel White, Commanders, Command Sergeants Major, distinguished guests, families, and friends of the 1st Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment, thank you for attending today's ceremony. On behalf of the U.S. Army Training Center and Fort Jackson Commanding General, Major General Kelly, and U.S. Army Training Center, and Command Sergeant Major Oaks, welcome to Fort Jackson. This is where we make American soldiers. Today, we welcome 763 of America's newest warfighters to our ranks, and we're going to take some time to honor all of our retirees. We are honored to have a great American here today with us, Mr. Charlie Farrell. Lieutenant Colonel Charles Farrell served our country in 2 of our nation's military services, flying jet fighters. This gentleman is one of South Carolina's very own, having graduated from USC, later working as the Director of Executive Education for USC's School of Business, and he finished up his military career right here with the South Carolina Air National Guard. He has written 3 books and has numerous articles, as well as held many other jobs associated with the military and service to the Columbia community. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our distinguished guest speaker, Mr. Charlie Farrell.
Thank you. It's great to be with you. About 6 weeks ago, I came out and talked to General Kelly about today, and my question to him was, how long do you want me to speak? He said, you can speak as long as you want to, as long as it doesn't go over 7 minutes. I saw him at breakfast this morning, true story. I saw him at breakfast this morning just a little while ago, and I said, General, I need a little bit more time. He says, good, you can have 8 minutes. So I'm going to have to hustle up here because I got a lot to say. 3 groups we're here to honor today. The first, of course, is the new soldiers. I'll get back to you folks here in a minute. The second group is retirees. I'm not eloquent enough. Let me just back up 1 second here. I apologize in advance. My interpreter got sick and was not able to join me today. So all you folks from other parts of the nation, like Judge Baker and his family from Syracuse, New York, I'm going to slow down, enunciate, and try to speak very clearly so that you can understand about at least half of the words I'm saying. The retirees, I'm not eloquent enough or smart enough to adequately say what we owe to the retirees. They have been places, some multiple times, that you and I would not put on our vacation bucket list. They have answered the call over and over again. I would encourage you to go to page 5 and 6 in the program today. There's a couple of pages there that adequately say what it's about to be a retiree. So I would encourage you to read that. The next group is the families, the moms and dads and brothers and sisters and cousins and aunts and uncles and grandparents that are here today from all over the world, I guess, to come for this time. You know, when your baby girl or baby boy was born all those many years ago, 20, 25 years, 30 years maybe, I bet you did not look at your spouse and say, you know, we've got to raise this child right because 25 years from now we're going to be at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, inducting this child into the Army. I bet you did not say that. But although you did not say that, that's exactly what you did. You prepared that young man or woman to be here where we are today. And we owe you a debt of gratitude as well. By your hard work, by your sacrifices in so many ways, by your love and your forgiveness of youthful transgressions that we all commit along the way. I know you are proud of your sons and daughters here today, but you ought to be proud of yourself as well. Thank you. Now to the soldiers, and I would like to talk about leadership. Where do we go from here? You've been through the basic training, but where do we go from here? What's in the future? In the future, for you is in leadership. And the word leader is a very interesting word. Leader is not a position on the organizational chart. Some people think in the military and outside the military, they think as they rise on the organizational chart, somewhere along the way, this term leader just automatically attaches itself to their name. It does not. Your position on the organizational chart inside your organization only gives you one thing, your position on the organizational chart. And one thing it does not give you, and one thing it'll never give you, and it doesn't make a difference, you're private to general, to senator, to whoever, it will never, ever, ever give you the term leader. That has to be earned. Now, as I travel around the country, and I've worked with thousands of groups, I've done about 3,000 training programs in leadership. One of the things that I ask people to tell me is, what are you looking for when you bring a young person in? What are those leadership traits that you are looking for? And it's amazing me, and I went back and looked at some of them, and the list is consistent. It's consistent over 30 years. It has not changed, except very little. It's the same leadership characteristics. And I want to read these to you today and see what you think. I'll try to do it without my glasses. They're reliable. They're a team player. They're respectful. They're punctual. They follow through on commitments. They're honest. They have pride. And they do the right thing. Those are the traits that I get over and over and over again. Leadership traits fall into one of three buckets: knowledge, skills, or attitude. Kilo, Sierra, Alpha. Knowledge, skills, attitude. Knowledge is about your weapon. You understand your weapon. You understand all of it. You know the parts. You know what kind of ammunition it uses. You know the velocity. You know everything about that weapon. That's knowledge. The skill is that you've been to the range, you've proved yourself on the range, and you can qualify, and you can make that weapon do what you want it to do. The last part is attitude. The A part of that is attitude. Now, I want to go back to this list. This is going to be a little audience participation here. I want to go back to the list, and I'm going to read this list again, and I'm going to pause after each one, and I want you to verbalize to me whether this trait is a knowledge, a skill, or an attitude. All of us, I want all to give it, and I want the soldiers too. I'll pause for a second after each one and just sing out knowledge, skill, or attitude. Here we go. Reliable. Team player. Respectful. Honest. Punctual. Follow through on commitments. Honest. Have pride. Do the right thing. What's it all about? It's all about attitude. Hire for attitude and train for skills. Hire for attitude and train for skills. And people say, well, how come knowledge and skills aren't on your list? They're important. They are important. They're tremendously important. But here's what we've come to understand, that you can teach knowledge and you can develop skills in just about anybody if they have what? A great attitude. Absolutely. So it's all about attitude. Have you ever done this? I want to dive a little bit more into this, a couple of traits here. Have you ever done this or seen this happen? I want you to picture yourself somewhere down the road. The new soldiers are going to be tasked with a real leadership responsibility. You got people reporting to you. Here's the picture. You're at work one day and a young soldier walks in, young man and woman walks in, been in the Army about a year. And by the way, let me just stop right here and say one thing. We talk so much about the Army, the regular Army, and here we are at Fort Jackson. I don't want to forget for a second where the Guard and Reserves come into play here. It's more important than ever before. The Guard and Reserves are an integral. Back in the old days, it was different, but now it's a different story. The Guard and Reserves, they're part of the military community, and we don't want to forget them for a second. But here's this young man and woman. The young soldier walks into you as their leader and says to you, my family is all excited about the 1 week of vacation we're going to have this summer. I know we got a lot of deployments going on and a lot of things going on, but I'd like to know where I can go and take my family on vacation. And you say to this young soldier, oh man, I should have had that out already. I tell you what, today's Monday. I'll have it for you Friday at noon. And so they say, thank you, I really appreciate that. I'll see you Friday at noon. They come back into your office very promptly at noon on Friday saying, well, I'm here to get the vacation schedule. And you look that young soldier in the eye and say, I'm sorry, I forgot about it. I forgot about the most important thing in your life right now. You've asked me for one favor this entire year. You're here every day. You go above and beyond every step of the way. And I look you in the eye and say, I'm sorry, I forgot about you and your family's vacation. As a leader, you cannot do that. You simply cannot do that. Credibility, reliability, and integrity. So how do we make sure we can follow through on our commitments? You've got to write it down. You got to write it. That's what cell phones are for. That's what pencil and paper are for. That's what your back of your hand is for, or maybe the helmet. But you've got to record your commitments. The 4 worst words in the English language together may be, I'm sorry, I forgot. Because when you tell somebody, I'm sorry, I forgot, what are you really saying? What are you really saying? you're saying it doesn't count. It doesn't matter. I don't care. It does count. And here about the soldiers here, the commitments that you made in your past up to this point probably are not big deals if you didn't follow through. I forgot to return the book. I forgot about the meeting. I forgot to pick you up at a certain time. Those may have caused a little embarrassment, but it wasn't a big thing. Things have changed now for the soldiers because you're in a different time and place. The commitments that you don't follow through on from now on can cost lives. I will make sure we have the ammunition. I will top off the APC with gasoline. I will make sure the chow is ready on our 20-mile hike today. Okay? I will have my squad at Checkpoint Delta at 6:12 in the morning so we can all be a part of this air-ground team, all these hundreds, maybe thousands of people that are involved in this operation. You have got to follow through. There is no reason for you to ever tell somebody, I'm sorry, I forgot. Have you ever done this? Have you ever heard somebody do this? They come to work in the morning and they say, man, I got a headache today. Oh, man, I got a headache today. My back's hurting. My neck's hurting. The dogs turned over my garbage last night. I had a flat tire on the way to work. Or you go home at night and your spouse or friend says, how was your day today? And you say, don't ask. I had the meanest, nastiest, most miserable day of my entire life. I don't want to talk about it. Well, let me show you what happens when you tell people negative stuff. Here's what happens when you tell people negative stuff. 88% of the people that you tell it to don't care. Now, what's worse than that is that 7% of the people that you tell it to are glad it's happening to you. Only 5% of the people really care. Your battle buddy, I think we got the 5% here today. Your battle buddy cares, your family cares, but that's the way life shakes out. We have got to follow through on our commitments, and we've got to have a more positive approach. I want to challenge every person here, me included, all our guests, all the soldiers. I want to challenge all of us to go for 1 week and not tell a single soul a negative thing. Today is Thursday. We'll round it up to 10 o'clock. We'll say that next Thursday at 10 o'clock in the morning, having saved up all this negative stuff, if you got a headache, don't say anything about it. You got a flat tire, don't tell anybody about it. If you go home at night, you've had one of those tough days, and your spouse or friend says, how was your day today? I want you to say, I had a great day today. How was yours? Yes, I want you to lie for a week. Drill instructors are exempt from this for 24 hours. You get a 24-hour exemption from this. But for the rest of us, 1 week. 1 week from today at 10 o'clock in the morning, having saved up all this negative stuff, I want you to grab somebody you've never seen before. Take them into an office, sit there and say, I'm going to tell you a story you are not going to believe. But this will challenge it. This will make you a better leader. Last, in closing, to say to the soldiers here, congratulations. It's a great day. You know, we are depending on you. The retirees have set a standard here back generations past that have kept us free. And freedom is the key. We have lots of foreign countries represented here today, lots. Amazing to me. And I bet if you asked any of those people from a foreign country why did they join the United States Army, they will tell you because of freedom. Freedom to go, freedom to choose, freedom to join the Army instead of being forced, freedom to be all they can be, to reach their full potential. And you know, you work for a great company, this U.S. Army. It's a great company. And people say, no, wait a minute, Farrell. We're not a company. We don't make products. You know, yes, you do. You're a company and you make a product, but you only got one product that you produce, and that's our freedom, for which we hold so dear. So I want to congratulate all of you for the great job you've done. I wish you well. We need you. We need all of you. We need thousands more like you. I had a CEO of a company here in South Carolina do a lot of work for Boeing and Lockheed and Michelin up in Greenville. And I had a president of a company say to me one day, he was looking for people. He says, just send me all the graduates from Fort Jackson. I'll hire them all sight unseen. That's the kind of respect you have when you attach the title behind your name, and that's soldier. We need you. We want you to succeed. The Army will help you succeed, and we need you desperately. I know that you will make us proud. Thank you very much, and have a great day.
Today's soldier is, above all, a warrior, adaptive, confident, and competent. As a soldier, you are totally committed to the warrior ethos, grounded in Army values, and determined to destroy enemies of the United States of America and her allies. The United States Army's Soldier's Creed embodies this commitment. To the soldiers on the field, the uniform you wear at this moment is more than an outward display of your vocational choice. Your uniform is a symbol of a nation and an unspoken assurance to all who see you that you are a willing and able protector of the freedoms fought so egregiously by all who have gone before and those who will bravely come after. You have become what you set out to be, a soldier in the United States Army. The Soldier's Creed is your declaration of your unshakable commitment to the ideals this nation was founded upon and will continue to guarantee. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as Specialist Angel Garcia presents a certificate of appreciation to the retirees and lead the soldiers standing before you through the reciting of the Soldier's Creed.
On behalf of the soldiers of the 1st Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment, we are proud to present a certificate of achievement for your service to our nation. On behalf of the soldiers of the 1st Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment, we are proud to present to you a certificate of achievement for your service to our nation. The Soldier's Creed!
Please be seated.
Ask and review!
Onward, sir.
Education.
Pass and review.
In consideration of those around you, we ask that you please remain seated and in the bleachers until all soldiers have passed the reviewing stand and the conclusion of the ceremony is announced. As you are approached by the American flag, it is appropriate to rise and remain standing until it has passed to your right. Once the ceremony has concluded, Family members of awardees may meet their soldiers under the canopy located to the left of the bleachers. All other family members and friends, please meet your soldiers on the field once directed by the narrator by respective companies. The 13th Infantry Regiment formed on July 16, 1798, during the first expansion of the Army after the War of the Independence. During the War of 1812, the 13th Infantry was engaged almost constantly in skirmishes along the northern frontier. The 13th United States Infantry was then reorganized by direction of the President on May 14, 1861. Its headquarters were established at Jefferson Barracks, Missouri, where companies Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Golf of the 1st Battalion were organized. During the American Civil War, the unit earned its motto, First at Vicksburg. On December 2, 1863, the regiment left for the expedition against Vicksburg, where they participated in the Battle of Hayes Bluffs, Champion Hill, and Black River. On May 19, 1863, the regiment led the assault on the Vicksburg fortifications. The 1st Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment, was the only Union unit to plant its colors on the Confederate positions. While the other battalions of the regiment have adopted the 40 rounds motto of the 15th Corps, the 1st Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment truly was first at Vicksburg. Following the Civil War, the battalion participated in the Indian Wars, fighting multiple skirmishes in the Montana and Dakota territories. During the Spanish-American War, the battalion was sent to Cuba with the 1st Infantry Division. On July 1, 1898, the 13th Infantry was part of the fierce fighting on San Juan Hill. The regiment suffered the highest casualty rate, but is credited with being the first to breach the enemy position. The remaining soldiers stormed the fortifications, engaged the enemy in hand-to-hand combat, and captured the enemy flag. Passing the reviewing stand is the commander of troops, Major Tompkins, and the battalion staff. The 282nd Army Band is directed by First Sergeant Sean Cupp. The drum major is Sergeant Jonathan Gifford. Alpha Company is commanded by Captain Jake I. Balky from Richmond Hill, Georgia. 1st Platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Joseph Sexton from Dalton, Georgia, and trained by Drill Sergeant Marcus Collins from Princeton Stand, Maryland. 2nd Platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Devin A. Valdez from San Antonio, Texas, and trained by Drill